Guys, I just wanted to make a recap about today's league play from the SAM Grand Series. So, for those of you that are not aware, Sam has actually a spot on RLCS this year. There's going to be actually two spots, not only one. And Rocket Street is hosting the tournament, the Grand Series. I'm sorry, which uh, will actually be the tournament to choose those two teams that will go there. We today we had the first week of league play with the top 8 teams from South America, and they were chosen. They were not randomly chosen. We had previous tournaments, and we came up with those 8 teams, and we had the stream in Spanish, in Portuguese, and in English in 3 different channels. For those of you that don't know, we had the Spanish stream in Rocket Street Live on Twitch.tv. We had the English stream on Rocket League Central, and we had the Portuguese stream on Rocket Street BR. Right? I think that's the channel. So we were lucky enough to have people from the 3 streams. I'm one of them. I stream for the Spanish team alongside with Alternix, and
Hello.
we have Volleyball and Depeche that they were in Rocket League Central,
Hello. Hello.
and we also had B Shadow. Shadow, can I just call you Shadow and that's it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Hello there.
Okay, cool. So we had people from each stream, and what I wanted to do is discuss a little bit of the action that we had today. So and the thing is, I know I'm very biased towards Sam Rocket League, and I know a lot of people don't have faith. Like, it's a new
Region.
it's a new region, coming in,
Yeah.
people that don't have the experience, the international experience. So people are skeptic about it. So I wanted to create a balance, and luckily, I have people from all 3 streams. Also, Shadow, you're from Portugal, right?
Exactly.
So we got NA, EU, SAM representation. I think we're covering all the bases except OCE. Next time, next time, if we have someone from OCE around there and you want to be part of this, just let me know. Okay, that will be really cool. So, guys, I want to start with the guys, from Rocket League Central. What was your biggest takeaway from today? I think. You think the stream is turned off, by the way? No, it is.
Stream is on. I'm seeing it, Volleyball.
I
We
guess
got
mine just glitched out for
JDM
some
says
reason.
hello, and Stylos. Hey guys, I'm doing the stream hoy en inglés, hoy solamente, hoy y solamente hoy. Así que una disculpa. We're gonna be doing this in English today. So guys, thanks
Sorry.
for being here. But you can ask any question. You can ask any question, and we'll be checking the chat every now and then. So guys, Volleyball and the patch. What was your biggest takeaway from today, if anything? It could be good or bad. It doesn't matter.
Erodium dominated, as expected.
Yep.
Now, the thing I want to keep have in mind is Erodium dominated, but Erodium dominated against the 8th seed.
Yes.
So even though, I mean, it's the number 8 team on South America. They are all grand champs. I think it's not like they're bad players, but there's a huge difference between a 1900 rank.
Player, yeah.
The ELO versus a 1600 or something like that. It's a huge difference. So being both grand champs doesn't mean that they are gonna be competitive matches. So it's still, does that make you feel like really good about Erodium? That like what you saw was really that good, that impressive?
Yeah, because of how consistent they were, even though they were facing the 8th seeded team going into this one, they had that confidence. They were able to show out. Game 2 was a little bit different
Yeah.
for them because they almost lost that by a goal, but they were able to bring it back. So good news for G Factor Galaxy is that they were able to take Erodium that far in Game 2, but they got to do a lot more going into the remaining weeks of league play.
Actually,
Yeah.
Pan is one of the players from G Factor, and he's on the chat. So thank you for being here. He's saying that we actually need to learn from that experience. And I agree. That's all you can do from that. Actually, you had the worst seed. In my mind, is the best because you started with the worst team, with the hardest team, but everything from now on, it's uphill. You had the
True.
worst. You had the worst moment
Yeah.
right now, so you can go higher. You can't get lower than that. And you had a really good second match, but again, was that G Factor playing that good, or was Math losing his powers for a little bit?
That's a good question. I'd have to see more data on the remaining weeks to see how Matt looks going into the remainder of it. But G Factor Galaxy, if they learn from what happened in that second game and the first and third one, since they kind of got washed in those two, they'll look pretty good going into the remaining weeks.
Yeah, it's sort of you mentioned it. Like the worst is behind them now, so they can focus on what's to come. And I do think that Game 2 was a sign of what they are really capable of, and I'm
Yeah.
looking really forward to seeing them play in the coming weeks, because I think there's lots of potential in there, and I think many people will write them off because yes, they are the lowest seeded team that have just barely made it into the Grand Series League play, but they do deserve to be here. There's a whole bunch of teams that didn't make
Yep.
it
Right.
to
True.
Grand Series League
Yeah,
play.
they had a
So-
very long path to even make it into the first place, right? They already surprised a lot of people just by being here in the first place. So they clearly have something in them, right? And yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, just the first match being against the Erodium is very obviously rough. But from now on, things should be better, and it's definitely a great learning experience at the very least. Even if the only thing they look at is that game 2 where they actually stood up against what is considered by many the very best that Sam has to offer right now, then I mean, yeah, it's something to take from that series at the very least.
Yep, I agree. I'm looking forward to definitely seeing them later down the line, and I think there's lots to come from them. I'll definitely be rooting for them just because I love underdogs.
Same.
I think there's a few cool things about G Factor, and it's they play together. They look for each other, and they try to make passing plays. And maybe it didn't seem that way today because they're playing against such a big team, which don't give you any space to do so. But they have a chemistry that some other teams don't have.
We saw that in game 2 when they did get those passing plays off, and we mentioned it before. That's the way we expect to see them in the coming weeks. It's like once they are given that chance, they take it. And Erodium, we're struggling against them too on defense.
So that's one thing I think they that's a good thing. That's something they have going on for them, and some other teams don't have it. Like some teams that may have been ranked over them, but you see the struggle. They can't find each other, or they can't find each other as well. Like for example, the team that comes to my mind right now is Orchid. Orchid. I don't know if you remember the series, but they went against Loki the first time. The first time we saw Loki today, and the series went 3-1 for Loki. But Orchid won the first match. They were doing great. They were contesting everything, and they doing great 50-50s. I think the first goal was a 50-50 that Altered said like, well, that wasn't really good at defensive play, but it was actually a good offensive play by Orchid. However, after that, they were trying to make some passing plays and play together. They couldn't find each other. The pass was there, but the next person that was supposed to get the pass wasn't being able to hit it, and that's something that I think G Factor does better than Orchid. So they have that. Even though Orchid is higher ranked, I think a match against G Factor will be really interesting. And that's actually the match I think we have next week.
Yeah, it's the first one next week, so that's going to be a good one.
And do you guys, any predictions, something you want to see from that? Or
Whew. That one's going to be probably one of the closer ones too, just because of how close the series between Loki and Orchid was. Even though it was a 3-1, like looking at the games and the scores, they went to overtime in game 2, and it was a 1-goal difference in game 3. Like game 4 was a bit of a wash, 3-0, but the other ones leading up to that, like Orchid looked solid enough to contend against Loki, who a lot of people say they're one of the top contenders.
They are. I mean, and actually, Alter, I mean, have your opinion changed a little bit? You were like a really big proponent of Loki being probably the second team
Oh
to
my
go into,
God.
and we have to do it. We have to do it. I mean,
This is gonna haunt me to the end of my days, dude.
no, it will haunt you until today and probably Thursday when we do Segundo Cero. But that's it.
Yeah.
But you can take it off your chest now.
No, I mean, I still think Loki are the second best team. They weren't playing today as they used to play in the other tournaments we've seen from them. I think they still can do better. They have a really tough match next week against Lotus. Lotus started 2-0. They had a really great match against Shoot'em. So if Loki wins that, I think my opinion will be the same. I think Loki can make RLCS. If they don't win that game, it's gonna be really hard to see them getting top 2.
So you
Makes
guys,
you feel any better? I
Go
also thought that Loki would be like the second best team in South America, even though my experience about the region is like much more much more limited from what I saw from previous results, especially the ones closest to the Grand Series itself, right? It did seem like Loki would be like they had the edge IMO on the other teams for that second spot. But I mean, so that's why I'm kind of surprised with the loss they had against Aintus, even though it's a close series overall. Yeah, I expected better overall from them, even so much that I think the only player who really showed up was like Tanner. He like scored 10 goals for that team, which is kind of nuts. And I'm pretty sure that makes him the highest scoring player as well on this entire on the league so far. And the rest, other teammates were like, especially Renan, he even said so on his Twitter. I'm not sure if you've checked it already.
Yeah,
like
I saw it.
they just didn't show up as much for that series, and EMTZ just took the opportunity and took the series in the end. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see Loki in the future weeks. I mean, they'll make it to the regional playoffs regardless. I don't have any doubts about that. It's just, I mean, obviously they can't really afford to have off week like they kind of had this week in the regional championship, right? If they want to make it to RLCS itself.
so
I have something to say about that.
Go ahead,
too.
yeah.
Next week, since they're playing Lotus, it's basically the two top scorers from this week facing off against each other, where you do have Tander and Firefox facing off. So that's going to be a good one, too.
obviously
Firefox playing amazing.
those two teams, have the highest scorers because Erodium only played once. Because
True.
otherwise we will have Math as the
Per
all-time.
game.
That is very
math
true.
is just,
Math is just. a
He has
beast.
8. He's right
Well-
underneath them with only one game, one series.
Math is just a beast.
Yeah, that was just
Actually,
kinda
I don't know.
insane.
I don't know if you guys know this stat, but Erodium went undefeated in single games in the Open qualifiers. In planes, they went 9-0 and undefeated, and now they have another 3-0. Like they haven't
Yeah, I
lost
saw
a
it.
single official game in the Grand Series. A single official game. They're insane.
If they somehow make it with undefeated, I'll eat my own shoe.
Okay.
There's no way.
It's impossible.
Watch
I
it.
don't think
There's no way.
Watch it.
I don't think they can. Like they're
There's no way.
super good. They are like really, really far ahead of the region. But like 3-0 in Loki, Int, and Lotus would be like monumental.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Honestly, I'm even more expecting them to just throw up to like say Shoot'em, like a team that they might not expect to be up there, maybe, but they are, right? So
One thing with
Yeah,
Shoot'em
sorry,
is that they are really inconsistent, but they can be
Yeah.
really good. I mean, their lows are maybe.
I think that was the definition of their series against Lotus, actually, because like they had the really solid game 2 entry, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Then
they
they
just
lost
held on
7-7.
defense. They like held on defense like crazy, and then capitalized on counterattacks. And then game 4 and 5, they just floundered.
So I think they were nervous today. the Chudem wasn't playing at their highest, they had so many open nets situations that they could have scored and tie the match, or force an overtime or something like that, and they were not able to do it. So but they have this flashy, just it's very consistent. He's really good. He can keep the pace all the time. Sam Panzaro, I don't know, today it wasn't their day, but they can actually hold on. They rise to the occasion. It's like the tougher the opponent is, they can rise their level to that and have a good match. So yeah, they could definitely take an under prepared Erodium, and give them a tough match.
The dark horse of the league, basically, is what you're saying.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
basically.
Yeah. If any team, we have the top 4, and we're counting one of those, 2 of those 4 to go into RLCS. But if any team out there can make it and can surprise everyone, will be Shoot'em.
Shouldn't. Yeah.
It will be Shoot'em. They can be the last team on the league plays, but they can also make it to the to RLCS, which is really bad because we don't want such an
Hot and cold team,
unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way the
Volatile.
regional championship at least is set up here in South America, which by the way I have to say I love everything about the format. So
Thank you, Alternix.
high praises.
That was
High
me.
praises,
Thank
left,
you.
right, center. So yeah, thank you, Alternix. Yeah, I would vow to you, but I can't. But yeah, it's just I don't think that's very likely to happen because just the way it is, you do need to be consistent somewhat in the end.
Yeah.
So I think they're fine. So in my eyes, if Shoot'em actually makes it, then they'll actually have proven by then to actually be consistent or more consistent by that point in time to actually deserve to be on that second
Yeah.
spot.
I get it.
I'm saying second spot because I'm just assuming the first one is zero.
we all do. We all do.
Everyone
We all
is,
do.
yeah.
We all
As
do.
everyone is. You're not the only one.
Okay.
I would
Fair
actually
enough.
want to ask Passion and Vod, because I know you guys casted some of the games of the Renegade Cups from in EU, and I would like to ask you how do you see those teams comparing to the South American region? I know it's really early to know, but do you think those teams are better than South American teams, or do you think at least Rhodium can play against them and beat them?
That was gonna be my question too. Like, how do you feel Erodium will fare against those teams, and go from there?
You mean the bubble teams that are in the
I mean,
EU
not
and
only,
AC?
not only the bubble teams. A lot about the region as a whole, and I know you've casted some of the teams that are on the rival series right now.
That's true, yeah.
So I actually think Rhodium has a world class level. I think they can win in RLCS, not like the whole tournament, but they can make a very deep run on the tournament. But I would like to hear your opinion on the matter.
I haven't seen too much of Erodium yet, and the one game, the one match that I saw from them was total and utter annihilation, but it was against the lowest seed of the league. So I can't say it with too much conviction just yet.
And
but
that's
I
the
would
fun
say-
part. That's the fun part. Okay, don't.
Yeah.
You can change your
Yeah.
mind afterwards. That's
Exactly. I'll just change my mind. If I'm wrong, I'll just change my mind.
For now, what do you think, basically?
Erodium looked really sharp, and Math. I mean, we've talked about him. He's a complete beast. He just can't stop scoring whatever he
Like,
tries.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I think they would have had a solid chance if they had signed up for one of the Renegade Cups, especially one of the EUs. I think they would have. They're definitely on the level of the best bubble teams in the EU. Rival series, I think they would have a good run in there. I don't think they'd immediately get relegated out. I'm not quite sure if they'd be able to stand up against the toppest teams of the world.
Too early
Ones
to
that play
say.
RLCS and DreamHacks and all that, the premier circuits. It's too early to say.
Yeah.
Perhaps they could be competitive against them, but I think they're just kind of lacking the valuable experience that it takes playing against such top teams. Because
Alpha Sydney for the first time
yeah,
they got to go to Worlds, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. There's potential there, but I think they're just missing the experience because these teams like Cloud9, Dignitas, or Barcelona, or these RLCS teams with seasoned players that have been in so many RLCS teams up to
yeah.
now. Energy. Yeah, I could list off all the RLCS teams at this point.
Yeah, everyone right there. Yeah.
They have so much experience, especially playing on stage in front of crowds. There's so much pressure. Playing from home in your bedroom is one thing. Playing on a stage when all the eyes are on you and you know there's tens of thousands of people watching at home and thousands of people in the audience watching you, watching your every single step, it's an entirely different thing. And I think the pressure might get to them. I obviously can't say because we haven't seen them play on stage yet, but yeah, Vaughn and I were actually, or was it Curtis? Definitely Curtis or Vaughn and I were talking about it before the stream started. We speculated about, well, is this going to be similar to OCE? Like when the first time they made it to RLCS, they didn't have that strong of a showing, but then the years afterwards, just like Alpha Sydney, they really make it far and really surprise everyone. And we agreed that, yeah, probably the first SAM showing in RLCS isn't going to be the barn burner that everyone would want them to be, but they're definitely.
But it could be.
It could.
It could.
That's
You
the
never can
exciting
tell.
part.
It's gonna be.
You never can tell. But I definitely think that this is a region to watch.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Like I feel they have a better range of talent in South America compared to OCE, because OCE was just the top two teams. Not even the top two. It was just the first team, Alpha Sydney, then the Chiefs. They were like the de facto best around. But the other teams, they took so long to catch up. But because of the way South America has been working as a whole and is structured, I feel like that top four, like any of them can give some of the teams a run for their money. Like even some of the OCE teams, they might have a good shot against just because of the roster changes we've seen recently with those teams as well. And maybe even if, depending on how the North American teams, which ones make it in, like if Rogue somehow makes it, or Bread or Splice, I feel like they could beat those kind of teams. EU is a different beast right now, though, because they are just a toss-up on who's going to come out for that. Maybe if Mouse makes it somehow and they're just having a bad day, they could do it then. But NA and OCE, they're going to have the best shot against, instead of EU, that I feel like they still struggle a bit.
I'm glad you mentioned the top four, because we were actually talking just about Erodium. You know, the way I feel, and this is very personal, I know what the patch is saying. Like experience and nerves, if you get really nervous on the crowd, that will affect you. And most teams in RLCS have that edge over any SAM team. If they are able to conquer those fears, and just perform really well, I think Erodium could be top 4 in the world.
They play real, like, their playstyle is so different from the rest of the world. It's actually insane to watch their aggressiveness. They've always played like that.
That is the thing too. Yeah, they're aggressive.
Kaio was always.
It's like Cloud9 kind of.
I would say it's even more aggressive than Cloud9. Because they kind of
like fancy shots, and like Erodium does more like the overwhelming power.
Because Cloud9 at least they can rely on Torment, because he's like always on the defense.
True.
Erodium is always on the opponent's health. Every single player, it's there trying to make goals, and I think that's a playstyle that can like surprise a lot of the teams in the World Championship.
The thing is, it's true. They are extremely aggressive and they're looking super sharp. And I've said that they're definitely a team to watch, and I think they can be up there. But the question is, how will they fare if they play against a team that knows how to defend against an extremely aggressive team?
Yep.
How will they play against a team that knows how to, for instance, play against Cloud9? Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be really hard.
Yeah. If I can interject and give my opinion, I think realistically speaking, I don't think we should expect more than, well, if they win a single series on their first World Championship, honestly, I'd call that as a success.
That would already
that'd be great.
That being said, I do think while their first showing might be similar to OC's first showing in the sense that they might not win anything, I think they'll actually have a faster growth than OC did.
Oh yeah, I could see that too.
Because I think about the top 4, I think Erodium is still the clear number 1. The difference is just that the rest, second to fourth, are definitely much closer to the number 1 than OC has ever been. And so because of that, I think there'll just be a faster learning from the world experience, from the World Championship, and also from other events. Like they're gonna play on DreamHack
DreamHack,
Montreal, is it?
yeah.
Because
Oh,
they have
yeah,
the
that'll be good.
qualifier.
Yeah, they have
So
a
yeah,
qualifier
I definitely think that just that extra added faster experience will mean that not this season 7, right, but season 8, they definitely will. I know they'll be as good, if not better, as OC in results,
Okay.
in my opinion.
no,
At the
I
I can see
very
that
least.
happening.
My-
I
my-
can see that happening.
My thing is, OCE was top 4 last time, right?
Yeah.
True.
I just want South America to be better, so they
I
have
just
to be
think- I
top
just-
4 this
to
this
be
year.
fair,
That's it.
I don't even like calling it OC because
That's it. That's it.
yeah, no, I understand, but I even have some trouble calling it OC because let's be real, it's pretty much the Chiefs still, right?
Yes.
Chiefs is just like such an insanely good
They're
team.
good, they're
like,
good, they're good.
just
Mhm.
they're an anomaly, really.
Yes.
And I don't think that is as true of Herodim with Sam. Like they're good, yes, but I don't think it's like such a wildly amazing team that
Okay.
the rest can't catch up. And I'm also not saying that they're like not as good as Chiefs. I do think they definitely can be up there. But yeah, it's just like overall as a region, I do think they, like Vaudeville said, a broader pool of talent that
Yeah.
can like actually contest for results on the World Championship.
It's like
so, yeah, they'll
comparing
definitely-
EU to NA, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to keep this short. We're near the 30-minute mark. So, what was the best match of today? If someone has to go back to the archives and see any match from today, what was it? Votable. What do you think?
Okay, I can't really pick one between these two. I'm obviously going to be biased between the Loki Esports and the INTZ one, but Lotus and Shoot'em, the first one, that was pretty intense.
Yep.
A lot more so than I expected. So I'm going to go with that one, I feel.
Alter?
I'll have to say the Loki versus Ints. That was insane. I don't know how Ints pulled that one out. I have no idea.
Pash?
Yeah, I have to agree with Vaudeville. It is a tie between those two for me. I'll go with Lotus versus Shoot'em because that was intense as hell from start to finish, and mostly because I'm still baffled at what happened to Loki in that final series. I do not know
I'm
how they
still trying
lost that.
to digest
They
it.
should have won it.
Yeah.
They should
Me-
have
me
won. I
too,
will take
Pat.
this to my grave. I told this to Vaude. They should have won it. The fact that they didn't just
They should have won
blows
3-1.
yeah, exactly. They should have won 3-1. It never should have gone to Game 5.
And Shadow, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm also biased because I started casting that one right away, and it's just like such a great way to start
Yeah.
the South American Rocket League experience that I also have to go with Lotus and Shoot'em just because it was an insane series overall, like so close, and yeah, it was really good. But Loki versus Instant was also really good. It's definitely a close second.
I casted so the last match, and I think I said that on the stream, like this is the match to watch. But at the same time, we had such a good one on Shoot'em and Lotus that I don't know if this is gonna be go all the way to the hype that we're expecting. So yeah, I'm with you guys on that one. Now for next week, I don't know if you have the schedule.
Yeah, I got it open.
You got
Yes,
it.
and
So what do you think is the match to watch for next week, if any, or something that
Loki Lotus. Loki
Yeah,
Lotus.
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
I'm also semi-interested in the Rhodium Orchid and Antizig Galaxy, just because
Yeah,
Orchid, I'm always kind of curious to see how those underdogs will do, right?
Yeah.
And Galaxy especially, if they go all the way at the very least, it's already as very good as well.
Went to 5 games against Ints in the plains, by
Yeah.
the way.
That's
Oh,
that's,
damn.
that's the
yeah,
thing.
That's gonna be a good one, then.
Yeah, that's the one to see.
So-
Easy.
Yeah,
Ints,
that's the one I'm going for.
Like-
because
Mhm.
I agree. I want to see the underdogs do well. And I did see that Galaxy went to 5 games with Ints, and I think they're going to want revenge. And there was so much potential today from them against Erodium. I don't
said
think
it in chat too.
yeah, I don't think the match against Erodium, it's really fair to gauge G Factor
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
based on that, because I think every team is going to maybe not look weak, but definitely have a hard time with Erodium. So my pick is definitely Ints versus Galaxy.
there you go. So we got some interesting matchups to go. We are just on week 1, so we don't have enough data maybe to process everything that's going through and make a future prediction. But we have some solid teams in South America. We're gonna keep checking them out and probably try to do this more often, so people that were not able to watch the whole thing or just don't have the time, well, you can understand a little bit more about South American Rocket League. So next week it starts at, what is it, 3 p.m. Eastern, I think it is.
Yep.
So 3 p.m. Eastern, you can check it out in 3 languages. You choose whatever you want, what's best for you. You can go to Rocket League Central to watch it in English. You can go to Rocket Street Live to watch it in Spanish. And you can go to Rocket Street BR to watch it in Portuguese. And, you're going to have a good time. Any of those streams is going to be amazing. So if you need more information, you can go to Wikipedia, Rocket League, and check the RLCS tab. And you'll find the Grand Series over there and, see more of what's been going on and what's going to happen with the road of some Rocket League to the RLCS. So I thank you so much, Votable, Artonix, Depash, and Shadow for being here. I keep it to 30 minutes. So I think I've made my promise. And, I enjoy it. So hope you guys did too. And we'll see each other next week. With more Rocket League. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. See you later. All right.
Cheers.